In studio right now, Mike Beck with the Utica Zoo and Kathleen McGill, Education Program Director. Guys, good morning.
Good morning.
And you brought in a prop. It seems to be alive here this morning.
Yeah, that's Grace. She's our barred owl. Probably the spookiest animal in our education collection. So,
other than the tarantula.
Well, you know, Spooktacular coming up 28th through the 30th, so this weekend. And I guess I never thought about it, but owls do represent a lot of that spooky Halloween type picture.
Yeah, I mean, the event is at night on Friday and Saturday night. So we'll have some of our owls out and some of our other educational animals, but definitely a lot scarier on Friday and Saturday night from 6 to 9. And if you're afraid that your kids might be too scared, you can bring them on Sunday. It's more of a family-friendly event on Sunday from 12 to 4.
All right, Kathleen, tell me about Grace the owl here.
So Grace, like he said, is a barred owl, and we guesstimate that she's probably about 10 or 12 years old.
Okay.
The reason we actually don't know is because she is a rescue from the wild. You might notice that one of her wings is kind of poofed out a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's actually because she has an injured wing or a broken wing. Unfortunately, she was involved in a car accident when she was in the wild, was injured. Unfortunately, there's not really a way to fix a bird's wing when it breaks.
Okay.
So for that reason, after they deemed that she was non-releasable, couldn't go back into the wild, we adopted her at the zoo. We've had her now for almost 5 years.
Wow.
That she's been working with us. It takes some time, you know, for her to get used to doing this. And I was a little nervous at first. I wasn't sure how she'd feel. This is her first time on the radio. So, but she seems to be doing pretty good.
Yeah, she's doing very well, and has a good look on TV as well. I gotta say, she carries herself well on TV.
Yes.
Okay, so different types of owls. I remember as a kid walking through like a swampy area and coming across a dead owl that was enormous. I thought, but maybe I was much smaller. How big do owls get? And maybe this breed only gets this size, but they can get pretty large, can't they?
They can. She is, you know, this is pretty much full size for her. She's a full-grown adult.
Yeah.
But there are great horned owls around here that get to be much larger. At the zoo, probably our snowy owl, if you visit and see him, he's pretty big too.
How large would you say if you were to...
That's hard to say.
Because my description was this thing was about 3 feet tall.
Yeah.
Wow.
Probably not that big.
All right. Just,
well, and speaking of spooky, I think the spookiest part of the eyes, but there's also something beautiful about them. That there's a movie about alien abduction I saw, and it always cut to this scene of like an owl's eyes, and never looked at an owl the same.
Yeah.
Or the sky, really.
Yeah.
And when you feed this owl, what are you feeding him?
We feed her mice usually. Nothing alive, of course. She wouldn't be able to catch it. She gets. We actually measure it out for her to make sure that she gets the right amount. Doesn't get too much. Doesn't get too little.
Okay, all right.
And this time of the year, as it gets colder, she does need to eat a little more. Even though she is undercover, she has an exhibit where she's protected from snowstorms, anything like that.
Got it.
It still gets pretty cold, and she gets some bulk on her. But believe it or not, owls, birds in general, the ones that fly actually don't weigh very much because their bones and their feathers are very lightweight. So she's probably not more than a pound.
Wow.
Which is why my arm is not going down to the ground.
Yeah,
so.
wow. That's. I guess I wouldn't think that. I would think that she'd be heavier than that.
Yeah, they're very lightweight. And that's part of the reason why it's so hard to repair a broken bone in a bird is because their bones are so fragile. So
she seems very content, though, with you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she likes you. All right, Mike, so talk about Spooktacular. Every year, big event, huge numbers.
Yeah,
this will be the same.
This is actually the 30th annual Spooktacular.
Has it been that long?
And because of that, we actually, when we were brainstorming the event this year, we were saying, what do we want to bring back?
Yeah.
And this year we're bringing back Frankenstein because... we went around the table, and that was what scared us when we were younger. So we're bringing back Frankenstein. He's going to be zapped to life in our auditorium.
Nice.
But admission includes trick-or-treating at 13 trick-or-treat stations. You can pay an extra fee for our haunted hayride as well. We want you to dress up. Costumes are welcome.
Okay.
And we'll have some food vendors as well. Holy Smokes Barbecue, Gyros by Louis Grapevine, and Voss's will be open as well.
So obviously, when you guys put out that the master plan the other day, it talks about where this zoo is, the direction, and it's really exciting. And every time there's one of these events, it does benefit your operating costs.
Yes, yep. This goes right into our operating budget. This is our third largest fundraiser of the year. First and second are Brewfest and Wine in the Wilderness. So yeah, this Spooktacular will go right back into our operating budget. Pay for feeding animals like Grace, and yeah. So.
Good stuff. I want to, as I'm checking out the owl, if you were to put your finger there and she were to take a real bite on it, how powerful is that beak?
I mean, it's pretty strong if you think about it. She is a predator, so that's
Yeah.
what she does. I would say I would hope that she wouldn't bite too hard, but you never know. And that's why one of the things that we do when we work with our animals, especially the ones that we call our ambassador animals, the ones that come out and kind of represent the zoo and their species, we kind of just respect their particular, likes, dislikes, boundaries, and things like that. So Grace is not an owl that likes to be touched. Most birds of prey are like that. So I'd never really try to.
Right.
But I'm sure it would hurt.
Yeah, I'm sure it would hurt. All right, good stuff. It is so it's Friday, Saturday, and especially for the little kids on Sunday. Spooktacular at the Utica Zoo. Thank you much, guys, for coming in and bringing along Grace.
Thank you.
Pretty cool.
Thank
Got a
you.
break. 8:56 at WIBX.